Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Jan Moses, back here with our first bit of news regarding NBA 2K26. The first bit of news is the obvious one. It's the one you can see on your screen, and quite frankly, it's the one that I think all of us expected since the NBA season came to an end, and that is the cover athlete being the regular season and NBA Finals MVP for the 2024-2025 NBA season. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander graces the cover of NBA 2K26, and I think that's well deserved. Obviously, he was the best player, arguably, in all of basketball last season. Yeah, you can make the argument whether it was him or Jokic, but regardless, it was SGA who got the MVP during the regular season, and it was SGA who carried his team, in some fashion to an NBA Finals victory as well over the Indiana Pacers. Obviously, that entire Oklahoma City Thunder team is stacked, and they are set to be a problem in the league for many years if they continue to develop their talent and use their assets wisely. I mean, that entire team is stacked, and what Sam Presti, their general manager, has done with all of their asset management, all the draft picks they have, is truly incredible. So shout out to the Oklahoma City Thunder, and namely in this case, shout out to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for being the cover athlete for NBA 2K26. The other bit of news that might have caught a few people off guard today is that NBA 2K26 is not going to be accessible on old gen. So if you've been playing NBA 2Ks from the last few years on your Xbox One or on your PlayStation 4, or if you're someone who likes to play NBA 2K25 on, the old gen version, even if you have the updated console, you're not going to be able to do so when NBA 2K26 drops. I believe on Friday, September the 5th is my guess. I'm not sure if they've officially announced it, but that's roughly around the same time NBA 2K25 dropped in September of last year. It would make sense that we see NBA 2K26 drop on the first Friday of September, the first Friday after Labor Day weekend. And I'm sure they'll give you a few days early access if you pre-order the game, probably starting on Tuesday. What day is that? Let's take a quick peek here on the calendar. Let's look at Tuesday. What am I doing here? Here we go. Tuesday, September 2nd. So if I had to guess, early access will be on the 2nd of September, whereas the rest of the world who does not pre-order the game and just buys the game outright will be able to do so starting September 5th. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be frustrated when they see that news. I honestly feel like 2K should have been exclusively made on what I've been calling current gen for the last few years. A while ago, I just feel like when you have, this team that's developing a game, and they're developing a game on both, the Xbox Series X/PlayStation 5 version, and then the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 version, it does kind of limit your resources, and I think it does affect the overall product when you're splitting up teams between two different versions of the game, or if you just have one team working on both versions. It really, it doesn't lead to a quality product. Now, I'm not going to say that NBA 2K26, whether you're playing MyTeam or MyGM or Park or Play Now Online or whatever else you may be playing, I'm not going to say that NBA 2K26 is going to be the highest quality NBA 2K game we've seen in a long time, because that would still surprise me, even with 2K only now operating on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. But I do personally like it. I just didn't like that old gen was still getting the game, even though that does sound kind of mean. I just feel like 2K should be putting all their resources towards this gen, and I feel like they kind of did this too late. Like, we're going to be seeing the next Xbox and the PlayStation 6 probably be announced, I think, sometime soon-ish. I would not be shocked if they announced the new next gen consoles for fall of 2026. We get GTA coming out, and then GTA gets to come out on current gen, and then they get to double dip the chip, them being Rockstar, and they can get sale for GTA 6 on their, on the new consoles as well. So I would not be shocked if that happens, and that would kind of be frustrating because we know if that is the case, when NBA 2K27 comes out, they're not going to just stop creating NBA 2K games at that point on the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. They'll continue to do that. So this does feel like it could be potentially the only time, for a long time at least, where we see an NBA 2K game come out just on one generation of consoles. So Madden has done it as well. If you take a look here, if you go to the Xbox or the Microsoft store here for Xbox and you pick one of the Madden pre-order options, you can see that it only says that it's available on Xbox Series X/S. And if you Google search Xbox One Madden 26, you'll see here the AI overview says Madden NFL 26 will not be released on Xbox One or PlayStation 4. So even Madden is not updating or not uploading, my goodness, they're not putting out a game for the new calendar year on the old gen consoles. So, it is what it is, man. I feel like this is a couple of years late, but at least they did it now. Curious to see what they do now with MyTeam Mobile for NBA 2K26, because I feel like, well, isn't MyTeam Mobile right now more similar to old gen than it is new gen? Like, if you're able to play a game of Triple Threat Online on the mobile app, it's Triple Threat Online. It's not the park, right? So what's going to happen when we get MyTeam Mobile? Is MyTeam Mobile going to keep the old gen game modes? Like, are we going to still have Triple Threat Online on the MyTeam Mobile app for NBA 2K26, but then we only have the park still on NBA 2K26 on the console app? Or the console version rather. Curious to see how they implement that. And then one other thing real quick, I do think we're going to end up getting a locker code at some point, hopefully later on today or tomorrow. We got this locker code last year when they revealed the cover athletes for all the versions of NBA 2K25 MyTeam, right? We had Jason Tatum, I think, on the regular edition, and then we had Vince Carter on the Legend edition, I believe, and I think Asia Wilson, I forget which cover she was on, but regardless, we ended up getting all three of these items right here that you can see on the screen: an Invincible Jason Tatum, Vince Carter, and then a Dark Matter Asia Wilson head coach card, all from the locker code that you see on the screen right here. I would assume we'll get something similar. Now, I don't think we're going to get any sort of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander card. Maybe they give us a GOAT Shai, but we just got the Invincible Shai for grinding out the NBA playoff spotlight sim, so I would be surprised if 2K gives us another SGA card. Maybe whoever they put on the Legends version of the cover for the Legends version, rather, that'll be the player that we end up getting. We'll have to see, but just keep an eye out for that. I expect a locker code. Would I be disappointed if we didn't get a locker code? No, because 2K has just been so stingy this year when it comes to MyTeam. All right, with that being said, I want to end this video by opening up a couple of packs right here, if I can. We just completed our best of MyTeam Super Pack agendas here for week 2, which was pretty easy to get done. Also, we ended up playing all of our salary cap games, ended up going 5-0. We were dominating with my lineup, and I want to quickly show you guys my lineup, because this lineup was different than what I showed you guys in this morning's salary cap report episode. I ended up moving some players around, and by running Joakim Noah and Corey Brewer's dynamic duo and benching who did I have? Damari Carroll and Jamal McGlure, I guess, right? Benching those two cards for Corey Brewer and Joakim Noah freed up enough salary for me to bring 2 diamonds off the bench. So I was able to bring in current New York Knick, Gershon Yabusele, and his dynamic duo partner, Adem Bona, off the bench. So I ended up running, 6 Dark Matters, technically, all from dynamic duo boosts. This lineup was just absolutely cracked. We averaged winning our games by 21 points. It was crazy run. We have our 2 shadow prize pieces for the 100 overall, which we will hopefully get early next week, but that'll be for us to worry about next week. Let's open up our best of MyTeam Super Pack. If anything else I want to open up, no, it's just that we'll get this Opal pack out of the way too. Why not? Just in case there's an Opal Wemby waiting for us right here. Can we see a shake? We can see a shake. All right, that means this could be Wemby. Will it be Wemby? Absolutely not, but a boy can dream, right? Western Conference, that is definitely not Wembanyama. He has probably like, what, 29 agility? Of course, it's from the Spurs. Hilarious. We get Opal Manu Ginobili. Wow, thanks, 2K. All right, best of my team super pack. Assuming this is going to be a Galaxy Opal. Again, I forget what we got last week, but I'm pretty sure we got a duplicate. So, like a duplicate Galaxy Opal, rather. So let's just open this up, and then we'll wrap up this video right here. Okay, we don't get a duplicate Opal. It's a brand new Opal. That's exciting. All right, here we go. Let's see who we get. While we go through this animation, let me know down below in the comments, are you excited at all about NBA 2K26, my team? Is this D'Lo? It is D'Lo. Cool. All right, well, I have the 100 Julius Randle, so I will not be going for the 98 Julius Randle. Let me know, are you excited about NBA 2K26, my team? Are you frustrated that they took the old gen version away this year? I'm curious to know, because I know a lot of people still play on old gen. People play like King of the Court on old gen. And you know, I'm not going to bash people for doing that. It frustrates me that 2K should be putting out the premier product gameplay wise and content wise on the latest console, right? Like the Xbox Series X version, for example, in my case, should be better than the Xbox One version. The PS5 version should be better than the PS4 version. Yet so many people, you know, who have the updated console are still playing the old gen consoles game because they like the gameplay better. They like the fact that they have triple threat online over there with instant matchmaking compared to the park. So it's pretty frustrating that in some ways you could argue that the old gen version of NBA 2K25, there were some ways where the game was actually better than the game that's offered on the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, hoping that now with 2K removing the old gen versions, they're able to make NBA 2K26, my team, and all the other game modes that are going to be offered in NBA 2K26, make the entire game a more qualitative one. That is my hope, and we'll have to see, I guess, as we, you know, wrap up the summer and 2K puts out their blogs and we see what exactly it is that we're getting in the game mode. We can see, I mean, we're not going to be able to know how qualitative they're going to make the game until later on in the year, but I'm just curious to see what they do with the resources that they were putting into old gen. I want to see what they can do in hopefully making NBA 2K26, which will again only be on the current gen consoles, a better gaming experience overall. I appreciate you guys. Curious to know your thoughts down below on the limited news that we've gotten on NBA 2K26. And until next time, I'll see you later.